Hi, how's it going? How are you all? I'm Maria Cardona, an immigration lawyer here in Spain, and every day I advise foreigners who want to come to Spain to enjoy this lovely and welcoming country. I also advise clients who are already here and want to be well informed about their options. We handle procedures anywhere in Spain and around the world. Wow, as if we were omnipresent, we're everywhere. If you want to know more about my work, here are the links to my social networks. On my social networks, you will find a lot of information that may interest you, and if you do not find what you are looking for, just tell us and we will try to rent it. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the application for a non-lucrative visa, the visa that will allow you to spend a long vacation in Spain, or if you want to see it another way, the visa that will act as a springboard to achieving a stable residence in Spain or obtaining Spanish nationality. In my office, we process non-lucrative visas, and they have to be processed through the consulate or embassy of your home country, which can complicate things, as each consulate has unique rules and quirks. 95% of the visas applied for in this office get approved. We're determined and pursue our goals. The info I'll share comes from our daily experience. Despite this, 95% of the visas applied for in this office have been approved, even though it has made us sweat a lot. We're pretty stubborn in the office, and if we set our minds to something, we go for it. So all the information I'm going to share with you in this video comes from our daily battle experience. In the battlefield, you learn a lot. I promise you that, as always, I'm going to give you a complete guide on the process, providing the information in a clear, concise way and in language suitable for everyone, so that anyone can understand it in detail, regardless of their level of understanding. And what will we specifically talk about in this video? So, this will be everything we'll learn about the non-lucrative visa, what it is, who could be the perfect candidate to obtain this visa, the requirements for applying for the non-lucrative visa, how the application process will go, the documents that need to make up a successful file to be submitted and resolved favorably, how long the entire process will take, what to do in case of a denial of the non-lucrative residency renewal, and the possibility of changing from non-lucrative residency to residency and work either as an employee or self-employed. And last but not least, we'll reveal the answer to the million-dollar question in consultations. With the non-lucrative residency, do you have to pay taxes here in Spain, or rather in your home country, or in both? Anything could be. Let's go for it. Let's get started. What is the non-lucrative visa? The non-lucrative residence visa is a type of residency that any non-European citizen who is not currently in Spain can apply for, as long as they have sufficient funds to live in the country without engaging in any economic activity, meaning they can't work either in Spain or from Spain, mind you, and this is for a whole year. Oh, if only I could. The applicant can also come accompanied by their family members, not all of them, but some. I'll explain that later. But they will need to show more funds. The more family members, the more funds you'll need. This visa will allow you to stay in Spain for 1 year, and after this year, renew or modify it or return to your country. If you didn't enjoy the Spanish experience, I know very few who have gone back. You can renew the permit successively, with each renewal lasting another 2 years. This continues until you reach permanent or long-term residency, which is after 5 years. However, if you are a national of any of these countries that I'm listing here, after 2 years of legal residency in Spain, you can apply for Spanish nationality, the most powerful passport in the world. With the non-lucrative visa, the only thing you need to worry about is having enough means to support yourself. If you can prove that you have sufficient funds and that your stay in the country won't cost the government anything, you'll be able to get this visa or renew it. And who could be the perfect candidate to obtain this visa? Well, it will be for all those people who want to retire in Spain for good, or who want to enjoy a long vacation, as I mentioned before, or foreigners who have enough financial resources to support themselves in the country without needing to be lucky pensioners or rentiers. Also for all those people who want to stay in Spain during their first year without working, to visit and discover the country, and after that year continue with their work or start a business. I'm leaving this video here where I explain in detail how to set up your business in Spain. You could also be an ideal candidate to apply for this visa if you want to work in Spain as a highly qualified professional, or if you plan to apply for residency as a digital nomad in the near future. You can do that starting from the non-lucrative visa. And who is this visa not suitable for? Well, for people who don't have the necessary financial means, that's logical. Nor for people who do want to work in Spain from the first year. And finally, you won't be a candidate for this visa if your intention is to work remotely from Spain. Do you want to know why not? Well, I'll tell you about it in this other video. I invite you to watch it. It's really interesting. Let me give you an example. You have a company in your home country and you receive a salary from it, even though you don't actually work there, and it runs on its own without you being present, well, just with the employees, then you won't be able to apply for the non-lucrative visa. There's a high risk of denial. You are a perfect candidate to apply for the digital nomad visa, but not the non-lucrative one. On the other hand, if what you receive from this company, from your company, isn't a salary but dividends, then you can apply for this visa. Perfect candidate. Benefits of the non-lucrative visa: there are quite a few advantages, but I'll list the main ones. You can bring your family with you through a joint application. You can obtain residency for your spouse, stable partner, and minor children, as well as adult or dependent children with whom you still form a family unit. Also, ascendants who are financially dependent on the holder. You can come accompanied by all of them quite easily, relatively easy, just by showing more financial means, and you can all come together from the start. You can get long-term residency in Spain and later apply for citizenship, or you can go straight for citizenship. We're talking about a temporary residence permit that lasts for 1 year. After a year, you'll renew it and they'll give you residency for another 2 years. And at the time of applying for the third renewal, you can then apply for long-term residency in Spain, which will allow you to live in the country without having to renew for 5 years. After 10 years of legal and continuous residency, you will be able to apply for Spanish nationality. And if you're from one of the countries that have a reduced time frame, you won't need to renew so many times. After 2 years of legal and continuous residency in Spain, you can apply for citizenship, and the application will take between 6 months to 2 years to be resolved. But anyway, third benefit. Even though you won't be able to work, you will be able to invest. Many of our clients ask us if it's possible to invest in Spain with a non-lucrative residency. And of course, you can invest. You can buy a house, a car, or even set up a business in Spain as an investor partner, not as a working partner. Fourth benefit, opportunity to study and do internships. Yes, you can study while enjoying your non-lucrative residency, and unlike a study stay, which doesn't count towards Spanish nationality, the non-lucrative residency does count. And regarding internships, since some internships are educational in nature, you can also do this type of internship in companies, but be careful, they cannot be paid. Fifth benefit, you don't need to invest in Spain to get residency. We know that there is a visa, the investor visa, which requires making an investment in real estate of at least $500,000 free of charges, although this visa has only a few days left before it expires. But okay, the non-lucrative residency won't require you to make an investment in Spain, just to show that you have the necessary funds, and no further investment is needed. Sixth benefit, you'll be able to travel freely all over Europe. Very interesting. That's right, it will allow you to travel all over the Schengen area without any problems and with total freedom. Finally, it can serve as a springboard for you to later apply for residency as a highly qualified professional or as a digital nomad. Let's give examples. Let's imagine a foreign doctor with a degree recognized in Spain who wants to find a job here, but this search is really difficult for him from his home country. So, he can come with a non-lucrative residency, look for a job, and at any moment when he gets a job offer, he can switch to a highly qualified residency without having to wait a year. What are the requirements to apply for the non-lucrative visa? I'll list them for you. First of all, you need to show that you have enough money in your bank account, financial resources, or that you have a stable source of income like rental income. And how much are we talking about? So, you'll need to show that you have 400% of the IPREM annually in your bank account. The IPREM is a public income indicator, and as of now, it amounts to $600 a month. Let's do the math. $600 for 12 months is $7,200, and this multiplied by 4 gives us the following amount, $28,800, which is what we need to show we have saved up well. But please don't just present $28,800 flat, it's better to have a little more. Also, there are many consulates that require the $600 to be multiplied by 14 payments instead of 12. Be careful with this, it's better if your lawyer makes sure everything is in order. You will need to present bank statements from the previous months. They need 6 months of bank statements. Funds need a clear source with documents. Funds must be in the main applicant's name, not shared, but can be in multiple accounts. It should be clear that it comes from a source. And that's why it's important that, for example, if it comes from the sale of a property or from rental income, you present the documentation that supports it. Be careful, the funds must be in the name of the main applicant, no shared accounts allowed, and yes, the amount can be spread across several accounts. It's highly recommended to have an account with funds in Spain. Important! Point number 2, if we come with the family, how much financial means will we need to prove? In the case that the applicant requests the visa for accompanying family members, the minimum amount of money that needs to be demonstrated will increase for each member you bring. You'll need to show an additional 100% of the IPREM, which means we're talking about an extra $7,200 annually. 3. You need to have private health insurance for yourself and your family members who are coming with you. A full coverage insurance in Spain with no waiting periods, exclusions, or co-payments. This contract must last at least 1 year. If you don't know which insurance to choose, we can find the best one for you. Contact us. And how much can this insurance cost? Well, it depends, but it's between $600 and $1,000, a little over $1,000. It depends on the age of the insured, their previous health status, etc. In 2004, you must not have a criminal record either in Spain or in your country of origin. And to prove that we meet this requirement, we will need to present a criminal record certificate that is current and less than 3 months old. This document must be legalized or apostilled and translated if necessary. And what is the process for applying for a non-lucrative visa? Well, the process is divided into 2 parts. The application for the initial visa in your country of origin. Once you have this, the second phase is to travel to Spain with your visa stamped in your passport. Once here, request your physical residence card. Regarding the first phase, the application for this visa will always be made in your country of origin or wherever you are legally residing through the Spanish embassy or consulate. It depends on where you are. The process will be more or less difficult. For example, if you are in Florida, the process will be a breeze. On the other hand, if you are in Mexico, the officials there are a little more, as I would say. Can't find a way to describe them. You'll prepare your entire file, and it's even better if you're advised by a specialist lawyer, and you'll submit your documents to this consulate. They will have a month to resolve it, and if they don't do it within this time frame, the law states that silence is negative, meaning it will be understood as denied. But be careful, don't be alarmed, negative silence is not binding. In other words, even if this time frame passes, you could still receive a favorable response. Yeah, this whole administrative silence thing is a bit of a mess. It took me a whole year in law school to understand it. Well, not a year, but most. The favorable response arrived, and they stamped the visa in the passport. Super cool. And now you can pack your bags because we're going to Spain. You have to enter the country within a maximum of 3 months once you're here. Second phase. You arrive in Spain, rent a place and register. To be able to register, it has to be a long-term rental, nothing like a vacation residence booked through platforms like Airbnb. What does it mean to register? Well, in each municipality, the town hall has a registry of residents, the residence register. With the registration, it certifies that you live at that address in that municipality. And don't take too long to complete this procedure, since within a month of your entry into Spain, you will have to go to the police station with our registration, a completed form, 1,2000, a paid fee to register our fingerprints, and later receive our tigre, the foreigner's identity card. Be careful with the appointment to register your fingerprints, because in some provinces they are really hard to come by, and it can be a nightmare to get one. Here are the documents that should make up your file to submit your visa application. I'll quickly list them for you. Just a heads up, I'm listing the general documents, but each consulate might have its own requirements, or depending on the applicant's case, they might need to present additional documents or not. Well, here we have it, National Visa Application Form. The application form model. The health insurance, as we mentioned, should be private from a Spanish company. Bank statements to prove that you have the required financial means. Some passport-style photos. The original passport, the medical certificate proving that you don't have any of the recognized diseases that would prevent your entry into the country, the criminal record certificate properly legalized or apostilled and translated if necessary. And for those coming with family, you need to provide documents that prove the relationship like birth certificates, marriage certificates, or certificates of domestic partnership or cohabitation, whatever you call it. Documents that aren't in Spanish, as I said, need to be translated. Sworn translation by a sworn translator in Spain. How long will the whole process take? Well, not much. The longest part is preparing a good file. I can tell you that on average, from the time the client hires the accompaniment service until they receive their tie, it takes about 6 months. And what to do in case of a visa denial. If a correct and complete file is submitted, following all the recommendations I've given, there shouldn't be a reason for denial, but anything can happen. However, in the event of a denial, we will have 2 options for appeal available to us. We can file a motion for reconsideration, and the same embassy or consulate that issued the decision will resolve it, or we can file an administrative contentious appeal before a higher authority. Judicial route is more effective, but it's a very long process. Depending on the reason for the denial, it might be possible to file appeals, submit a new application, or look for another way to come and reside in Spain. Otherwise, the best thing is to consult with a specialist lawyer and also one of those who give advice without having the $sign on their forehead. You understand me, right? It's just that in these matters of appeals, renewal of non-lucrative residence. The non-lucrative residence will last for 1 year, and when it expires, you can apply for a renewal or a modification. You can renew if you still have the required financial means, if you maintain your health insurance, etc. But keep in mind, as I mentioned earlier, that the residence they will give you will be for 2 more years, so for the renewal, you will need to prove the amount you provided to apply for the visa for 2. But what will happen if we don't have the required amount, or if we've just gotten tired of being on vacation and want to work? So we can then switch to a residence and work permit, either self-employed or employed. Be careful if you're coming with accompanying family members. If the visa holder makes a change, the family members can't modify as easily. It's a whole story. Family members will need to renew the non-lucrative residence by presenting financial means, or those who are of working age can switch by presenting a job offer. They can also return to their home country and from there be reunited, or wait for the holder to obtain Spanish nationality so they can be reunited from Spain without needing to go back to their home country. A bit complex. For minors, there are also options like applying for residency after 2 years of staying in Spain, but look, it's better to consult with a specialist who can analyze the case properly. You can also contact SOTO's modification of the non-lucrative residency to a work permit, either as an employee or self-employed. You can modify the non-lucrative residency to a self-employment work permit, yes, by starting your own activity as a freelancer or a business, or you can also present a job offer. In the first case, it might happen that during the year you've been on the non-lucrative visa, you've managed to boost the market, create a solid business plan, and you're determined to start your own business and have the means to do so. It's not a simple application, and you will need to prove that through your earnings you can support yourself in Spain and that it's a viable project. It's not easy, but it's not impossible either. Get good advice, start preparing your application on time, and if this is what you want, go for it. On the other hand, in the second case, if you present a job offer and switch to a residence permit as an employee, you will need to have a permanent job offer with a minimum wage that meets the current interprofessional salary. And very importantly, your employer must have sufficient financial means to fulfill this contract, and they must not have any debts with Social Security or the tax office. If you submit a good application, they shouldn't have any reason to deny it. This doesn't affect what I've mentioned. During the non-lucrative residency year, you can switch to being an international teleworker, digital nomad, or highly qualified person without waiting for the card to expire. Finally, the answer to the common question, with non-lucrative residency, will you pay taxes in Spain? Yes, because staying over 183 days makes you a full tax resident. And last but not least, we reveal the answer to the million-dollar question in consultations. With the non-lucrative residency, will you have to pay taxes in Spain? You will have to pay taxes in Spain because you will be in the country for more than 183 days a year, which will make you a full tax resident. You will have to pay the IRPF, which is the personal income tax, on the income you earn worldwide. But keep in mind that there are agreements to avoid double taxation, and you declare exactly in this income tax return your salaries, which shouldn't exist with the non-lucrative visa. Capital gains that come, for example, from dividends or interest, contributions and retirement benefits, the income you earn from renting out properties, gains generated from the sale of any property. All these incomes will be subject to income tax, and you should include them like a good Samaritan in your tax return. Anyone under the non-lucrative residency is subject to exactly the same taxes as any other tax resident. There are no special taxes or exemptions of any kind. And how much should one roughly pay for these taxes? The IRPF is a progressive tax with marginal tax rates ranging from 19% to 45% for income classified under the general taxable base, which includes wages, income from economic activities, real estate capital gains, etc. Or from 19% to 26% for income classified under the savings taxable base, which includes dividends, interest, and certain capital gains derived, among other things, from the sale of stocks or properties. If your wish is to apply for the non-lucrative visa, but you're a bit worried about the taxes you'll have to pay in Spain, I recommend that you talk to a tax advisor who can run a simulation for you. In the office, we have a department specialized in these matters that, of course, I make fully available to you. And well, that's it for today's video. Did you find it interesting? Is it complete? Tell me in the comments what your plan is or what your experience has been like applying for this visa. As I always say, I love hearing your stories. Share this video with anyone you think might be interested, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. If you're feeling enthusiastic about it, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, give it a like, leave a comment, and follow me on social media. In the description, you have all the links. Thank you so much to everyone for watching me. A big hug and see you soon. Goodbye.